So 95% of the population earn 5% of the wealth if they're in this bracket, right, on this side. Okay? That's the facts. That's not a good place to be in, right? If 95% of the population only earn 5%, obviously there's not a lot going around, okay? Quality of people's lives aren't that great if they're finding themselves as an employee or self-employed. So now we're understanding. So when I was a brickie and I was in my situation, I knew I wanted more, right? I knew the way I was going to get out of that was not going to be through being an employee or being self-employed, right? So everyone knows my story of how I wanted to get myself into investing and getting into properties, but because my position was so, it wasn't good enough to be able to get a loan. Obviously I had to get my mother to go guarantor, put her debt up against that. That placed a lot of stress on me because the banks wouldn't give it to me, right? So I knew full well that I needed to get myself over to this bracket to be able to improve my life, okay? So, to be able to get over to this bracket, and this is where it is, 5% of the population earn 95% of the wealth if they're in these brackets. Did everyone know that? Who didn't know that? Yeah. That's not cool, eh? No. Okay, so, as network marketing as an industry, what are some of the reasons why people can't go into starting their own business? Don't have enough funds, yeah? Skills? Time? Haven't got the guts, haven't got the knowledge. Okay, so we're looking at time being a factor, money being a factor, skills, yeah, knowledge, yeah. See? Oh, so I had it right in the first freaking place. Freaking a-holes telling me I'm wrong. So these are the main reasons why people aren't capable of getting into the other side of the brackets, right? Obviously it takes a lot of know-how. It's big risk, right? Big risk. You've got to have a lot of money to be able to start, okay? You've got to have the knowledge. Another one. Support. When you're starting your own traditional business, it's very hard to go from here to go into here because you're typically lacking these things. So you can't make that transition. People are stuck. I was stuck because I didn't have these things, okay? I knew I wanted to get out of this side. I knew. My life depended on it, right? But I couldn't. So this is some of the things is why the experts are saying, start off with network marketing. Because you don't need a lot of these things to be able to start to live the entrepreneurial spirit, right? To be able to progress and slowly build upon a wealth while you're working full time to be able to get yourself expendable income to the point where then you can move over to this bracket. Okay? And these are the other things. Who thinks $5.90 for a presents pack is they have troubles with that? With people and their concerns as far as $5.90 being an investment. Okay? So, $5.90 is the investment, right? But we're getting our products, we're feeling great. Like I've just done 26 days, lost 4% body fat, gained 2 kilos, lost 2 kilos off my trunk with this system, and that exact same system is what has allowed me to gain my freedom. Okay? The freedom that has allowed me to now move into this part of my life, be this demographic, and start to progress and start to create passive income as well, right? We want to be looking into building passive income also. So, when we're looking at this as a business, what are our overheads? Isogenics, what's our overhead? Our food. Who here already spends money on food? Yeah? Cool. Alright, so our only overhead is what we eat. So let's just say, can we get some shout outs of maybe some things that would be overheads in a traditional business? Insurance, rent, employees. Stop. I can't hear everyone. Rent, advertising, marketing, council rates, accounting, franchise fees. Yep, all these things, right? So this is the best thing about the company and about the industry is the fact that all these things are already taken care of, and because we don't necessarily have the know-how, we get to leverage all of that, right? So we get all these overheads as far as traditional business, right? Traditional business. Overheads, overheads. You're typically the last person to get paid, okay? So, getting paid last is not great, especially if you're putting your heart and soul into a business, right? It's a lot of upfront money. Who here's had a traditional business or has got one? Can we get some shout outs as to maybe some of the costs of what the upfront cost, the first straight off the bat cost of what that took to be able to get that going? Put your hand up so I can see. Yep. Yep. How much to start? 150 to 200k, yeah? Over $1 million? 25 grand hasn't pulled away for how long? 4 months? Yep. One more? $1 million. Okay? $1 million for a startup. Huge risk. Do you agree? Yeah. 590, huge risk on stuff that you're already spending on? No. No. I don't want to hear a freaking single one of you ever come to me and have some sort of, oh, I'm having trouble expressing the opportunity and the value of it. People finding it difficult 590. You come to me with that, I'm going to freaking walk away, okay? 590. So 590, day one. One day, right? Just for stuff we're using. Simple, right? So, I'm going to be very, very, very generous when I say I'm going to use 50k as a startup for a small business. I'm going to use 50k, right? 50k. So, let's do 50k as someone's traditional business to start up. $50k. Boom. And I'm being generous. Okay, so day one, 590. Day one, 590. To start building wealth. Have our own, basically our own franchise. Have all the things that the company's already put together that we leverage, right? We get to leverage all that, and all we need to do is talk to people. So, this is where it gets really interesting. Let's break it down. 590 is not huge. At all. At all, right? So let's just say 2 years' time. So 2 years. We start on 590. How much around about a month is it to maintain our isogenics business? 200 bucks. Okay, so over 2 years, if we start on a presence pack and we maintain it on at least $200, around about $200 for some of our meals or our supplements or our cleansers or whatever it is, right? Whatever you fit into your lifestyle, that's what you're spending, right? So over 2 years, it's going to be $5,390, right? That's not even on day one. That's your investment over the span of 2 years. Now, if people want to take this business seriously and have results, they need to get comfortable with the fact that they need to be committed for time. They need to be committed, right? So they're not investing in 590. They're investing at least $5,390 in stuff that they're already spending, spread out over 2 years, which is a darn sight cheaper than 50k straight off the bat. And that's still being very generous. As you heard, a lot of people said $1 million, 500, hundred thousands of dollars, right? So now let's go to 5 years. So we've got 5 years, right? 5 years is $12,590, right? 5 years. Our investment is spread out over 5 years. That's what it comes to. Still a darn sight less than that, and it's spread out over 5 years. It's not day one, okay? 10 years. 10 years is $25,180. Okay? 10 years. Using stuff you're already going to use. It's still half the 50K for an original investment into a franchise or a business, right? And I'm being generous. 20 years time, right? 20 years time, eventually you'll hit 50K. 20 years time, spanned out, using money on stuff that you're already using money on, to then leverage all the things that a traditional business has, that the company has already put together, to be able to create your own wealth on side of working a full-time job. I built this while I was working full-time as a bricklayer, went training and eating food. I did it in the cracks of my life, right? I used this to then become that statistic, right? So, I mean, when we look at it, I've been building the business, I've been building like the opportunity, I've been building teams for a little bit over 2 years, okay? A little bit over 2 years. I'm a product user. I love the products for about 14 months, right? 14 months. So let's just say for 2 years, my outlay for this business, my investment, the minimum, spread out over 2 years, was $5,390. My turnover, right, that's my only overhead, my turnover has been, in that 2 year time frame, about 600K plus, right? Is everyone starting to understand that the fact that this is super low risk for super huge reward, right? And now that allows me to be able to expand into the things that I originally couldn't do because of these things that I gained through network marketing. And this culture, and this company, and this you know, team, this environment. All that I've become, because I was committed and understood this wasn't a lot, allowed me to become the outcome of my environment. I didn't have the traits, I didn't have the know-how, I didn't have the skills, I didn't have the money in the beginning. But I've gained an abundance of that through network marketing and through Isogenics. So do you see why my posture on this is super strong, and that maybe why I've had success? And I don't have a single problem with people coming to me and thinking that 590 is a lot, because it's not, all right? Not at all. So who agrees that, you know, having seen this, is given a little bit of clarity, a bit of brain? Who's a bit left-sided brain and is very stats-based figures? They feel emotionally like they want something so heavily, but they also like to have their head attached to it as well, right? Who's one of those people? Yeah. So this is the thing. When we connect something where people have obvious wants and needs, and they feel so emotional about the fact that they need those things, imagine if we can couple that with having their head right as well. You get their head right, they've got their heart right. They're coming to something because it's smart, right? What has given all you the position to be in this room as a leader right now? Network marketing. What has changed my life? Network marketing. What has changed all my friends' life? Network marketing. Right? It's not rocket science. These are the reasons why the Robert Kiyosakis, the Donald Trumps, the John Assarafs of the world, the who else is there? Does anyone have any? Who's watched The Rise? Paul Zane Pilsner. Yeah. Warren Buffett. Why are all these people saying it's a very, 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 very good idea to start in network marketing? Because of all this. And that's about all I have to say on that. So you'll get to see me over the weekend.